His message last night to the Republican conference was to open those negotiations with this message: kiss my ass.
It's a great opening line. Kiss my ass. We're Nick and Steve from the Vocal Minority for Really American Media. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and smash that like button as many times as you possibly can.
Yes, great presidential quotes. 4 scores and 7 kiss my asses ago. Welcome to America. So, yeah, Trump, Mr. Art of the Deal, started a global trade war, is claiming that all sorts of countries are coming to the table to negotiate. But I can't imagine Mr. Art of the Deal, Mr. President of the United States, would actually be saying the countries are or should be kissing his ass.
I'm telling you, these countries are calling us up, kissing my ass. They are dying to make a deal. Please, please, sir, make a deal. I'll do anything. I'll do anything, sir. And then I'll see some rebel Republican, some guy that wants to grandstand, say, I think that Congress should take over negotiations. Let me tell you, you don't negotiate like I negotiate.
You don't do it, Steve. You don't negotiate like I negotiate. First of all, come on. No one is calling up, begging and pleading. That is Trump's wet dream. Please, may I have some more?
Yeah, I think you're right. Nobody negotiates like Trump, and that's probably a good thing. It's probably why we haven't had too many of these global trade wars that we decided to start. But, all right, so Trump is blustering from the pulpit there, but the Treasury Secretary, he seems to be the guy actually doing these negotiations from all of these countries calling us, begging us. So let's hear it from him.
The Japanese Prime Minister recently said he's not going to rush to get a compromise and a negotiation. How quickly do you think you can see these deals come to fruition?
Well, again, I think there will be advantage to our allies, especially, and a first mover advantage. Usually the first person who makes the deal gets the best deal. So
who do you think will be first?
It's their choice.
Now look into your crystal ball. Who will be first? Let's predict the future. From someone who's never organized any such deal in history, right?
Right. The first person gets the best deal. I find when you have a really hot product, like when the new iPhone comes out, the first people don't get the best deal. They're lucky to be getting any deal whatsoever because they want that product. When you don't want a product, then yeah, the first person who's willing to bite is, of course, the one that's going to get the best deal because you're a terrible salesperson with a terrible product. So how is this going so far, Mr. Treasury Secretary?
Is there a handful of countries that you expect to have a deal before the 90 days is up?
Oh, I think there could be numerous countries. And look, it may not be the actual trade document, but we will have an agreement in principle and be able to move forward from there.
I have a fantastic business plan for you. I think you should sell a book called How to Say a Lot Without Saying Anything at All.
Right. I got to tell you, Nick, I have done a lot of sales over the years in media, and that is a classic thing. When a salesperson says, we don't have a final deal yet, but we're talking a lot, and I know we said we'd get this done right away, but I think in 90 days, maybe we'll have a concept of a plan. This seems to be the mantra of the Trump world. No real plan, just a concept of a plan.
Things are coming together. We're talking. We got some things on the burners. Things are cooking, but there's no proof of that whatsoever. And they're even sort of saying the same thing over at Fox News without saying it just up front and in your face.
Although there are no solid written sealed deals on the table yet, the Trump administration has proven the point that the world needs the American market, which is why you've seen 130 plus countries calling and saying we want to come up with some kind of negotiation and deal. You're also seeing the Treasury Department today issuing direct statements from Scott Bessent about these negotiations. He talked to the president of Argentina, for example, today, and they put out a readout on those calls talking about tariffs and the way forward.
I kind of feel bad for that talking head there on Fox News to go out here and try to put some sort of positive spin on. We've, started this yard sale and not one customer has come up here yet. But again, everyone keeps pushing this back onto the Treasury Secretary. So what is her spin on how he's doing so far?
Treasury Secretary is talking to our allies like Japan, the UK, and Australia, who have had geopolitical issues with China, not just economic issues. That's a way to further push China into a corner as they come up with deals together, so that China, again, has to say, how much risk are we going to put to our own economy by playing this tariff game of chicken when we need the United States market? The world is clearly proving that they need it as well.
It doesn't make any sense to me. If they need it, why are they not buying our stuff? I mean, isn't that the complaint, that they're not buying enough from us?
Yeah, I think this is classic projecting when you're putting on somebody else what you're actually thinking or fearing. So she's saying China and everyone else has realized they really need America. I think what has actually happened is America has realized we really need everyone else. And the European markets can team up with China and just screw us all over. So I appreciate her optimism, but I don't feel any better about any of this. Do you feel like we're winning so far, Nick? So much winning.
So much. You're going to be tired of winning. If this is winning, I am tired of it. You are correct about that, sir.
Yeah. So, okay. So let's hear from another country. We're claiming that China is chomping at the bit to sit down and negotiate with us. We've got them over a barrel, Nick. So what's China saying about all this?
中方也将奉陪到底，施压、威胁和讹诈，不是同中方打交道的正确方式。
Translate, please. Can you translate?
Yes, allow me to translate that real quick. So, what she is saying there, if you didn't read along on the screen, she said, if the U.S. wants to talk, our door remains open, which means they haven't contacted us. But the dialogue must be conducted on the basis of mutual respect and equality, like most business deals. She continues to say, if the U.S. wants to fight, then we will see it through to the end. In other words, they're not backing down. She said, pressure, threats, and coercion are not the right way to deal with China. And I would add on there, it's usually not the way any adults deal with each other, especially when you're trying to negotiate when you need something. Trump is pretending like we have nothing to lose here, when in fact we have everything.
Yeah, it's that mob mentality that he's so used to throwing his weight around, getting what he wants, but it doesn't always work out. You have to be dealing with weaker people when you're doing that, and I don't think China is in a weak position here.
Yeah. Have you ever had a yard sale or something and customers come up and you just insult them to their face?
Kiss my ass. You'll buy that? Yeah? Give me $20.
But hey, Nick, this is the art of the deal, guy. I just don't think you understand the art of the deal. This is how you do it. You insult and offend other countries, and then you assume that they're somehow going to give you what you want out of all of this.
So patriotic. It's American, Steve, to insult other countries. I mean, when we talk about American ignorance, isn't this at its best?
Well, let's talk about American ignorance. So Trump is claiming that China is begging to make a little deal with him. So I don't know. What does Trump have to say himself for how we're doing with China?
I have a great relationship with President Xi. I hope it's going to stay that way. I have great respect for China, but they can't do this. We're going to have one shot at this, and no other president's going to do this, what I'm doing.
Yes. So we have great respect for China, who can also kiss our ass. We're going to bully them into trying to negotiate with us. And I don't know, Nick, what do you think? Would any other president do this, as Trump said?
Oh, God, I hope not. And I mean, I really think that they would not. But I mean, whoever you pray to, whether it's God, Buddha, or whatever, like, thank God that no other president would do this and act this way. But there's so many people out there in the MAGA world calling for exactly that.
Yeah. No other president would do this, but our first ever elected king, this is how he's handling it. So, again, just to summarize here for everyone, Trump started a global trade war about 2 weeks ago. He has claimed that country after country, 100 plus, are calling us up, kissing our ass, begging us to make a deal. Yet 2 weeks into it, we have zero evidence of any deals whatsoever. Even what those people are trying to say, like, we'll eventually have some sort of concept of a deal. We don't even have a concept of a deal. I don't even think we have a clue.
I thought this was supposed to be the administration of transparency and common sense. We've seen neither in these dealings. So where do we go?
Yeah, well, your mistake is putting any thought into it whatsoever, because they're not putting thought into it. So I don't know. Why would we?
We keep covering with Nick and Steve and the vocal minority for Really American Media.